top of Lhotse, the fourth highest mountain in the world. Here you can see the Lhotse Ridge but to the south. Maybe you can recognize Everest. My voice is fucked up. I cannot record too long like this because my hands get frozen. Alright. The top of Lhotse.
Hey guys, what's up? Nordine here with a storytime video this time. Today I'm going to take you guys with me on a journey of, how I found my passion, how I became a mountaineer, and actually how I was lucky to find my passion. And maybe I can help you, if you haven't found your passion yet, that you find a way, or maybe can identify your own passion that you want to pursue in life. I think I was very, very, very lucky to be able to find my passion at a very young age. The first time when I actually got in contact with the mountain, the first time I actually been on a summit and experienced the mountains myself was quite late. I was 23 back then, and that was really the first time I went mountaineering and climbed my first summit. I want to share with you why I love being out there, how I started, how I trained, how I prepared myself, and how I overcame my own shortcomings to actually go out there and risk something and live my dream and find my passion. A story that tells you why I am constantly willing to risk my life, just relying maybe on this ice axe, putting my life only on this single grip in a crevasse on a glacier. Why I love, and also at the same time, I'm also afraid going out in the dark in the night, 12 o'clock at midnight, or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock a.m. in the morning, going through crazy glaciers all by myself, all alone. Why I'm afraid to do it, why I have fears to do it, but also why I love to do that. Why I love being out there in the nature, in the mountains. And this is my journey, and this is gonna be a whole video series. And today's video is all about how I started and how I became a mountaineer in the first place, and how I climbed my very first mountain. And I want to share the story for you with you, just so you can first of all see how I started, but maybe you can also see a way how you can start. And you don't have to start mountaineering, but maybe how you can start doing whatever you wish to do or wanted to do for a very long time. Or maybe you don't even know what you want to do. Maybe you want to find your own passion. You want to figure out what it is that makes your heart beat higher, because that's what mountaineering does for me. I have a huge smile on my face and my heart is racing like I have just fallen in love every time when I'm in the mountains. And that's just a blessing. That's just such a gift that I was able to find that at a quite young age, even though starting mountaineering at the age of 23 is quite late. But maybe this video helps you in finding your passion, or maybe trying and finding the courage to pursue your passion. So the first time I got in contact with mountaineering was actually 13 years ago, around about 13 years ago. Hold on, I have the date here. It was on the 26th of August in 2011. That's about 13 years ago. Back then, I think I was around 22, 23 years old. Now I'm 36, and So as I told you before, I never really been to the mountains. I never really got into contact with the mountains. I had no friends or any people around me that did some kind of outdoor activity or mountain sports or mountain climbing, mountaineering or anything. So I was kind of I didn't know anything. I didn't even know that I had the passion, but I knew since I was young that I was always intrigued and very cautious about nature. I loved being outside in nature, but I also loved gaming. Yeah, so whenever I was in the gaming world playing Super Nintendo and I saw a nice scenery, I saw mountains or mountain ranges or just the forest or anything, I started dreaming about nature and being outside. But that was only virtual, I was always in that 8-bit system and I never really had the chance to get out there. And I never really had the friends to take me out there. So, yeah. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why I never really got in touch with nature at a young age and in touch with the mountains at all before 23. So I remember when I was studying electrical engineering, I quit it because I was just too lazy and I switched to management, which was in my eyes just a lot easier than electrical engineering. I remember I had a gap in between those two semesters, and I told my dear friend Angus, that's not his real name because I want to keep his privacy. But my good friend Angus, I told him, hey man, what do you think about cycling with our bikes to the pyramids? It was at a party, at a college party, and he looked at me and said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And yeah, so actually, out of fun, basically, but I had this idea in mind. We agreed to cycle with our bikes from Germany to Egypt to the pyramids. That at least was our plan. At that time, I was busy with studying. I quit playing football. I didn't exercise at all. So I got quite fat actually during that time. I was weighing about 93 kilos. So I was really, really chubby, I would say, during that time. And people were laughing, oh man, Nordine, he probably cannot even cycle for a day or for a week. And let's see if he's able to do that. So eventually the day came, and my good friend Angus and we prepared everything. We bought two trekking bikes with a little bit of mountain bike profile. Um, we bought all the bags and equipment and maps and everything that was needed. And we had about, let's say, I think we had somewhere around 6 to 10 weeks time to cycle there. So I researched the route. The route was going from Germany over the Alps, over the Austrian Alps, over the Italian Alps, over to Venice. And from Venice, the plan was to maybe take a ferry to Alexandria or maybe to Damascus in Syria, and then from there keep on cycling around the Mediterranean Sea until we eventually get to Cairo with our bikes at the pyramids, and then, just celebrate that. I can tell you, it didn't. We didn't manage to cycle to the pyramids, but what we did actually was we cycled across the Alps and took a ferry over to Africa. But that's a complete different story, which I won't go into detail now. But yeah, I researched the route through the Austrian Alps and the Italian Alps to the through the Dolomites. And my good friend Angus saw the route and he told me, hey, Nordine, I saw you planned the route through the Alps, through the Dolomites. This is a super beautiful mountaineering area. And as far as I know, he said, you never been on a mountain before, right? You never stood or reached a summit, right? I said, yeah, that's actually true. And I would really like to do that. So he suggested, hey man, why don't you just pick a summit somewhere along the way or on close to the road, and we put the bikes to the side, put our up our tent, and we climb a mountain together. And that's actually what we did, and it was the first time I got to experience the mountains when we cycled to the Alps. That was the first time when I was seeing a mountain range, those gray, almost white and light gray colored mountains of the Dolomites, which are super, super, super beautiful. It's an incredible, beautiful piece of nature, and yeah, it just yeah, left me speechless. The experience itself, to be completely honest with you, was not that amazing. I remember we got there, we were cycling up we were cycling the Sella round, and that one pass, I think it was about 2,000 meters high. We put our bikes there, and then we started ascending to the Pitzboe. Pitzboe is the highest mountain, I think, in the center of the Sella round. It's about 3,152 meters high. And yeah, I just looked for the highest mountain I could find in the near Sella round, which is so typical for me, but yeah, that's a different topic. And yeah, that's how I decided that I want to climb this mountain. And Angus just said, "Yeah, sure, let's go for that." And yeah, so we went up there. I had no experience at all. I had no clue what I was doing. I had super fucked up shoes that were completely, I don't know, that my shoes had holes in it. It wasn't even mountaineering shoes. They didn't have a stiff sole or anything. It was like the worst possible experience you can imagine. It was all like how do you say, gravel, a lot of small, tiny, loose rocks. Yeah, it was super, super hot, a super sunny day, and it was basically a very boring way up, because a gondola was to the left side of us, and yeah, a lot of loud Italian kids screaming around. Went to the summit, and yeah, all in all, I would say it wasn't really the most enjoyable experience, but I remember sitting up there on the summit. I was super happy that I, yeah, managed to pull through, even though I was sweating and was a little bit exhausted. I had to carry a lot of my own body fat up there. But at the end, I managed to stand up there and, yeah, just see the huge and vast, beautiful mountain range of the Dolomites. After we came back from our cycling trip, I really thought I would continue climbing mountains and explore more of them, but that wasn't really the case. It took me almost 2 years until I eventually got back to the mountains. As I told you, I didn't have any friends in mountaineering and climbing or anything. So yeah, there was somehow not the opportunity for me to get into mountains unless I take the initiative, get into the car, and yeah, inform myself, research everything, and go. And that just didn't happen for another 2 years. So I wasn't mountaineering for 2 years, and eventually I got to the point that I really wanted to go to the mountains again, because yeah, they were always on my mind. I couldn't forget about them, and I really wanted to get out there, but yeah, somehow I wanted to share it with someone and not go alone, because I knew it was dangerous to go alone into the mountains. So yeah, I didn't know what to do. But eventually, I told my girlfriend back then, "Hey, what do you think about spending a day in the mountains together? Even though I have no experience and don't know what I'm doing, but let's just drive there." I think it was the first time I had a driver's license, or I didn't have my driver's license for a long time. So yeah, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to spend time with her, and I wanted to be in the mountains. So even though she, yeah, wasn't like super amazed by the idea, but yeah, we decided to go there. So what we actually ended up doing was we drove to southern Germany in the Bavarian Alps, in the area of Garmisch-Partenkirchen. I think it's the Karwendelgebirge. And yeah, there is one mountain I found doing some research that would be possible to do for us. The mountain was called Arnspitze, and there's also the Große Arnspitze. And yeah, I did a little bit of research on that mountain, and I thought, yeah, actually, I think that's completely doable for us. So yeah, it looks like a beginner mountain. Let's do that. So, oh yeah, in case you're wondering how I researched my routes and my mountains and summits, there was well, I basically just went into the internet. There's a page called hiker.org, And I think I use that site most of the time for my research because it's a nice page. You can almost find all the alpine mountains, but also a lot of international mountains all over the world. And a lot of people just write their reports and their experiences with those mountains, and share pictures and so on. So hiker.org helped me a lot to research mountains and get a feeling if this mountain is doable for me, if it's at my level, or if it's way beyond my skills and physique, and if I should stay away from that mountain. So yeah, that's what I did. And yeah, I remember we went there. It was May, let me look, it was May 2013. Yeah. Back then, I didn't know anything about weather. I didn't know anything about preparation, about the weather conditions up there in the mountains. Now I know that in the Alps in May it can be super bad weather. There can be a lot of snow. And it can be quite tricky to go into the mountains in May. So, but young greenhorn Nordin didn't know anything about that, and yeah, we just went there, left the car at the car park, and yeah, just started walking up. I still had no mountaineering shoes, no proper rucksack, no knowledge, no experience. I was running up in joggers. So yeah, like a complete moron, I went into the mountains. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I didn't know how to find the route and or anything. And yeah, we went up there. So what happened there was actually it started snowing after a few hours. I think we reached about 1,900, almost 2,000 meters. And it started snowing a little bit, and I could already see that my girlfriend was a little bit worried about the weather and so on. And I said, "Come on, let's keep on pushing. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe the snow stops, and yeah, let's do this. And if it gets worse, we turn around. Okay?" That was me, super stupid. And actually, what we ended up doing is we had to go over a ridge, and then we had to how do you say, traverse like the mountain face. It was a super steep and very narrow path. It was snowing, and yeah, the path wasn't really there, and you had to do quite some exposed scrambling. And I was so stupid, I still didn't want to give up, and I still pushed it, and I continued climbing and scrambling, and my girlfriend had to follow me. We had no equipment at all. We had only sneakers, and that's it. It was a super stupid and foolish move. And I think after half an hour or an hour doing this stupid exercise, climbing and traversing that rock face, which could have been deadly for sure, I eventually the snow fall got even stronger, and eventually I realized this is stupid, and that we should turn around. And that's what we did. Actually, we both turned around back to the ridge, and then descended. Which was even harder than going up, because there was a lot of snow. We couldn't find our steps back, and it was kind of messy and very stupid. I remember very well that after this tour, after this little failed trip, we were sitting together in the mountains. We were happy that we were down in safety, but I was so angry and I was so mad at myself, because not just did I have bad judgment, not I risked my life. No, I also risked my girlfriend's life back then, and I was super angry about myself. And yeah, I cursed at me for being such a fool and so ignorant, and risking both of our lives. And yeah, I told myself I don't want to do that again, and especially I don't want to risk someone else's life with my stupid decisions. So yeah, that was quite an important lesson, but not the only lesson. Let me tell you that. So I couldn't forget Arnspitze. The mountain defeated me basically because I was a fool, a young idiot, and but I couldn't forget it. I saw the summit in the distance, and I knew I wanted to reach the summit somehow, but I felt like I need to learn a little bit more. So I asked my friend Angus again about if it's possible that he could help me, or that he would be, if he would be interested to go to Arnspitze again with us. And yeah, if we want to summit it together in, I think it was in June, mid of June, which is also a little bit early in the season, but doable if you have good weather. And if there was not a lot of snow before that, the weeks before. So Angus agreed. Angus brought his girlfriend. I went with my girlfriend. My sister joined. We were a group of 5, and we went to the Arnspitze. Angus knew exactly what he was doing because he was an experienced. He was experienced in the mountains. He'd been there several times, I think, with his dad. So he knew what he was doing and how to read the signs. So yeah, that's what we ended up doing. And with his help, we reached Anspitze, which felt quite like a success. Yeah, because somehow, I got beaten by the mountain, but I tried again, and eventually, yeah, it worked, and we were finally able to stand at the summit of that mountain. And yeah, we were so happy. My sister and my girlfriend, they teared up, seeing the beauty of the Bavarian Alps. And it was just a great day outside. And even though it was a super long tour, I think it took us about 11 hours, 13 hours in total, because we were amateurs and not fit at all. And the descent was quite tricky, and we were going slow. But yeah, we enjoyed it so much. And yeah, that was just a great experience. So 1 year later, after the success on Arnspitze, which is just a super small mountain and not even a big thing, but back then it was a huge success, for me, and it yeah, gave me some confidence in continuing the mountaineering journey. And yeah, it took another year until I went to the mountains again. So I started in 2011, and yeah, it took until 2014 until I reached another summit. And another year later, I went together with Angus to the Birnhorn. Birnhorn is a mountain in Austria. It's quite remote. Not a lot of people go there. And we were still both studying at the university. He was he did communication design in Augsburg. I studied management in Weiden. And yeah, we just, yeah, we I think, yeah, exactly. Now I remember, we were working together in a gardening company. And one day we decided, yeah, let's go to the mountains again together, because it was summer, it was July, the weather was beautiful. And yeah, we thought, let's use this beautiful weather and let's go to the mountains together. So that's what we did. It was the 3rd of July 2014, and Angus and I started going to the mountains again. And yeah, went to the Birnhorn. Was a super funny experience. The day before, I was donating blood. And I remember at the first hut, I think we were drinking 1 or 2 beers, and then we had to go on a glacier, cross the glacier in order to get to the summit area. And after the blood donation and after the 2 beers, going on the glacier, I suddenly felt very, very weird. I was, I almost felt like I was super drunk. I didn't drink, I just drank like 2 beers. It felt like I drank 6, 7, or 8 beers. So yeah, that was super, super shaky. And yeah, I told Ingo, hey man, I don't feel too well. Let's move slowly, because I don't know if this is a good idea. But yeah, eventually, I guess the blood alcohol got better, which is stupid. Okay, don't do that. And since then, I decided to never drink alcohol again on a mountain. It's nice or fine to drink it down there in the valley or somewhere else, but never again will I drink alcohol in the mountains. That was quite a lesson. And maybe don't donate blood the day before you go to the mountains. That's also maybe a good idea and something to consider. So yeah, we got to the mountain, to the summit area. We reached the summit. We had a great day. We did a few stupid pictures, and afterwards we climbed down the mountain, which was quite tricky. It was a little bit of an exposed mountain. And I remember there was one situation. Ingo was like hugging to the wall with all his very focused, with both his hands at the wall, scrambling down, making sure, because it was very, very steep and exposed. Yeah, exposed is the word. Sorry for that. And I remember he was climbing there, and I saw a nice flat plate leading down there, which was still close to the edge. But I thought, hey man, this is a good spot to walk at. And I just walked down there as if I was just walking down the road. And after this climbing session for Ingo, but after the whole passage, and when we were back on the glacier down there in safe terrain, Ingo looked at me and said, "Nordin, do you even realize what you just did there?" And I said, "Hey, what do you mean?" I had no clue what he was talking about. He said, this part was quite tricky. It was super exposed. I was shitting my pants and you were just walking around like you were shopping in the mall or something like that. I was really enjoyed it, and but I didn't realize that. I didn't notice it. It was, for me, it was a natural feeling. I wasn't afraid of the ledge. I wasn't afraid of falling down or slipping. Maybe that was just me being unexperienced or stupid, but somehow I felt like I had a lot of safety and that the whole situation is safe enough and that I could pull that off. And it felt quite natural for me, and didn't think too much about it. But Angus told me that is not a normal way to move in the mountains. So I remember after the Benhorn, I started to think about what he said, and try to make some sense of it. I was able to feel during that time that I really enjoyed being in the mountains. I really felt that it is so good to just feel your body, like you're it's such hard work to go up the mountain. You feel your pulse, your heart is beating so hard and so fast, the sweat is running down your face, and you just have to work hard and overcome your physical weakness, but also your mental weakness, because your mind is always screaming at you what you're doing here, and that this is a stupid idea and this is not enjoyable. But somehow it's not. Somehow I enjoy it when I feel my heart beating in my chest, and when my pulse is high, and I can even feel the pulse, even on my skin and in my fingers. I love the feeling so much, and this is just one part. The other part is just being out in nature. The air is so cold and fresh and clean. The mountain ranges are so beautiful, and the colors, the contrast, and the colorful mountain scenery is so beautiful. You have these gray shapes, then you have this strong green valleys of grass and the dark green mountains, and then you have the white snow, and you have a blue sky and the blue clouds, and it's so beautiful because they form such a nice ensemble, and you get to realize how beautiful nature actually is. So I was able to feel that I thought, man, this is so beautiful out to be outside, and also feels so good to feel my own body. And that is when I really started to fall in love with the mountains, and I could feel that my connection with the mountains is getting stronger every time. And I experienced actually that I enjoy being out there, even though it is hard work. And that I want to do more of that. And this is what ended up happening with me. So at this point, I realized I kind of like being out there. I told you before how I enjoyed it in nature, how I like to feel myself. And 2 weeks after, I wanted to go to the mountains again. But still, except for Angus, I had no friends in mountaineering. No one else was going to the mountains with me. No one was excited as me about the mountains. My friends and my family were just not as excited about mountaineering as I was. And I didn't know whom to talk to. And Angus didn't have time. I don't remember what was up. Maybe he had to go back to university or something. I don't remember exactly. But eventually I ended up being alone. And if I wanted to be in the mountains again, I either find someone else to go to the mountains with me. Maybe I go to some chat groups or forums or anything, or yeah, maybe I try solo mountaineering. Um, Maybe in at this specific point, if you're looking to get into mountaineering, if you, or let's say some kind of sport, let's say it's surfing, it's swimming, it's a triathlon, or whatever it is, I usually would recommend to ask around in your with your ask around among your friends. Maybe one of your friends has experience with that in surfing or any kind of exercise you want to do, and they can take you with you. And if you happen to have the same problem that you don't really have the friends to do those kinds of activity that you want to do, and again, whatever it is, and even if it's badminton or golfing, it doesn't really matter. But if you don't know anybody or don't have friends that do this sport or this activity that you want to do, I can just recommend to you go to social media. And especially, I know a lot of you call Facebook is a boomer platform and it's outdated and no one uses it and so on. I understand that. um, but to be completely honest with you, if you want to connect with people, if you want to find new friends that share a passion or a sport or some kind of activity with you, there are plenty of Facebook groups. And for that, Facebook and the groups are quite good. So, for example, let's say you are, there are a lot of mountaineering groups in or on Facebook, where you can just get in there, tell the guys, send a picture of yourself, maybe write something about you, how experienced you are or how unexperienced you are, if you're a beginner and if you just want to start mountaineering, or if you are a little bit experienced but you are looking for a buddy. Facebook is a great way to just find people around you and connect with them and go on a trip together with you. Of course, it's a little bit weird, you're meeting up with a stranger you don't know if you can trust them, but you can judge a little bit. You can, if you get there, if you arrive there, you can already see if this person is reasonable, or if they are a moron, or you can even call them first or have a like a WhatsApp or FaceTime call or anything like that. So I know you will find a lot of reasons that are against it, but if you want to find a reason against it, if you want to find an argument why not to do it, you will always find one, trust me. But there are also a lot of arguments and reasons why it's a good idea, why you can do it, and why you can find a way or a solution to do it. And actually, yeah, go out there and do it. And this is probably one of my best advices I can give to you at this very moment. If you're looking for your passion, if you don't know what you're passionate about, if you're still trying to figure out what you like, because this is not a given. This is actually kind of a rare thing to actually figure out what you love, what moves your heart, what makes you smile. This is not an easy thing to do. It's basically, I would say it's one of the hardest and most meaningful things in life, to actually figure out what you want to do and what you like to do and what you enjoy to do, and what you are maybe even very talented at doing. And in order to find that, you need to try. And I know there's a lot of people that don't want to try. They say, I don't know about that. I don't know if I like that. And there's so much effort in it. And I have to invest so much time and money and energy in doing that. But to be honest with you, if you have this attitude, it's very, very, very unlikely that you find something you love, that you find your passion or something you're excited about. That's the same with love, actually. If if you're never ready to risk something, to risk your heart, to give a part of you away, you will probably never be able to find love, or to receive love. So you always have to risk a little bit, get yourself out there, try something new, leave your comfort zone, and just try. This is really, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you think surfing is interesting, go and try it somehow. And even if it's just at a lake and a low budget variation, but just go out and try, and maybe you will figure out that you love doing it or you hate it. It's the same with playing an instrument, making music, meeting friends, whatever it is, or even with a job. It's the same thing with a job, actually. So this is just one of the tasks and challenges in life that we have. We need to figure out who we are and what we actually love, and for me, that's how I understand and interpret the meaning of life, actually finding something that you're passionate about and that you love and pursuing that, and maybe having a dream about that. But maybe you have another philosophy about life, and that's totally fine. So, yeah. All right. So much about finding your passion. So go out there, try something new if you haven't found your passion yet, and don't be afraid to connect with people. Don't be afraid saying I don't know anything about it. Don't be afraid of saying I'm an amateur, I need help, please someone take me with you. And so on and so on. Don't be afraid. There are a lot of people out there that want to help, that want to help you to get into the sport, that want to teach you, that want to mentor you. You would be surprised how much people are willing to connect and to make new friends, especially in nowadays time where everyone is getting more and more lonely. Okay, I'm gonna stop at this point now because I'm getting philosophical here, but yeah, just get out there and try shit out, okay? And this is the way how you find out about your passion, and maybe you're lucky to find it. Yeah.